Hi guys, welcome back to this episode of Path of Purpose. We are here with the Brotherhood team, and just like you, we are walking on a journey to unlocking ways to live a life of purpose. Today on the podcast, what you can expect to receive is we go into some wins and lessons from the week previous. We go into ways that we set ourselves up for success, to have a successful week. We then tap into how to connect with our heart, and finally, how you and we can live a life in alignment with our authentic selves. So tune in, you will receive some value from this. Dial in, take some notes, strap in for a good time. We're going to lead the podcast with some wins and lessons from the previous week. So do you want to kick us off on that, Kurt? We'll go wins first, and then we'll come back around and do some lessons as well.
Wins. Okay, so the wins for the week. It was a big week last week, I feel. And I feel Brotherhood as a whole won. The business side of things did well, I feel like. And personally, a win is... I feel like I had some great times I connected with my partner. So that's always a great win. So that was very strong for the soul. And cultivating that is always a win. Cass?
Nice. Yeah, well, I was in Bali, so that was a win in itself. But just good, valuable time with my family was massive, and not punching on with the brothers when I was there.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well
we
done.
Might have been good training though.
Yeah. No, we all got along. We all got along really well. So we haven't been cooped up in a house for whatever it is, 7 years, 8 years together.
Yeah.
So we love each other.
That's
cool.
nice.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah, I reckon win was surviving the week without you. That was great. So we were covering some sessions there. Win for me last week was, I shared it in the chat actually. I didn't want to train on Saturday morning. I woke up and I was like, the body's feeling sore, and I actually said aloud to Georgia, I said, I wonder if I should listen to my body today. And she recited that back to me. She's like, just play what you said back. I wonder if I should listen to my body today. And anyway, chose to get down and coach the session, which is a cool thing about being a coach, is you have to be there. There's no option of not being there. And that means once I got down there and started warming up and moving the body, that I felt really good, and then I was excited to train, and so I did get this session in, and I was rapt about it. Like, it was the best I performed in quite some time. So yeah, it was nice to feel like everything I'm doing is stacking up to lead that body to winning. So that was good. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Lessons, bro.
And lessons.
No losses, only lessons.
That's right. So lessons for the week. I think the power of sleep. I think there was nights where I didn't sleep much, and you could feel it in your energy and just how you were during the day. And then there was a couple of nights where I slept really well. And those days where I slept really well were a lot more productive, and I felt a lot better. And because I felt a lot better, my energy was a lot better to give. So just the power of sleep, and that's going to be something I'll try and dial in this week as well, is getting good sleep.
What's good sleep like? What's that for you?
That's at least, over 7 hours. I want to try and get 8.
Yeah.
And, figuring it, like doing a little nightly routine. So at the moment, my partner and I are doing a few challenges, and one of the challenges we've put in is 10 minutes of stretching before bed. So I used to do that a fair bit, and I find that's just a great way to unwind, release tension, and go to bed a bit more relaxed, because obviously you want to be nice and relaxed when you go to bed. So just doing some things, blue light blocking glasses, trying not to eat a big meal before bed, and just these simple little things we can add up. Do some supplements, some magnesium, some L-theanine, some tart cherry juice, and be sleeping like a log.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Quite the concoction. I'll get my notepad.
Throwing everything at it.
That's good, mate.
Beautiful, bro.
Yeah, a lot of that's so simple to do, but so simple to not do, so easy
Yeah.
to not do.
Yeah.
If you stay disciplined to that habit, though, so beneficial.
Yeah. Get that dialed in.
My lesson would be, sounds funny, like this will be a bit of an insight into my mind in fight camp, but early on in the holiday I was on, the first couple of days, it was sort of like the more fun I was having, the less I felt like I was on the path, the purpose.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, the
So like
purpose,
like
yeah.
with my fight coming up, it was sort of like I really needed to learn how to have fun and also get my work in,
Yeah. Okay.
if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I sort of, Lily pulled me up. She was like, "You're just agitated. Like you don't like," because I didn't feel like I was doing enough for the fight.
Yeah.
Whilst I was on holiday having this much fun.
Yeah.
So me getting that balance between making sure I get my work done, making sure I'm mentally switched on for the fight, but then also having that time to switch off.
Yeah, what a balance.
How'd you find that balance
Yeah.
then? You found it hard
It got-
at the start? And then...
Yeah, it was super hard at the start. Like I said, I got agitated a couple of days in a row because I was like I'm letting myself down here. I'm not doing the right things. Like this is too easy, too much joy. Whereas like you've got to have a little bit of that suffering to then enjoy the joy, if that makes sense.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
I find that so hard about holidaying,
Yeah.
because it's like you've got to train yourself out of your ordinary routine and then to surrender to the actual holiday experience.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then at the same time, you do have a big thing coming up, you know,
Yeah.
what, 2 weeks away?
Yeah, 2 weeks away. And it's like you said, it's scary. Like it's a big, scary fight. So if you're not doing those things, it's very easy to get agitated and nervous and worried about it because you're like, I'm not ticking the boxes right now.
Yeah.
But Lil was good enough to pull me up and be like, you just get up before everyone else. Train first, then you're sweet for the day. You know what I mean? Like, get something done, then you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
It's that support, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
how's
that's
that
good
for
support.
just
Yeah.
you've got your actual coach.
Yeah.
And then you got Lil, your
Yeah.
partner, like, and who's the coach as well.
People would love to see like some of the questions like that I'll ask her, like, should I eat this? Should I do that? Like all these so small things. I'm like,
You ask her.
yeah,
She's
just
a
like,
naturopath as
yeah,
well. Hey?
she's very clued on, and she's been with me through the whole journey, like first fight till now.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's
she
beautiful.
knows
Yeah.
you in a way
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, she was with me when I was still playing footy, so she went
Wow.
right through my sporting journey pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's real cool.
yeah.
Hey?
She's like another set of eyes.
Yeah. She knows
Yeah.
the game just as well as
Yeah.
you now, eh? From a different
Yeah,
perspective.
100%. What about you, brother?
Well, all I can think of is the lesson that I tied to that what I previously shared and then I shared in the chat was the me getting to that Gladiator Games, because I was asking myself, it's funny for me, like the self-talk that comes up in trying to make excuses or something like that for why I shouldn't train or blah blah blah, or why I shouldn't do X, Y, Z, and because then I even started questioning, like, the standard for the Spartan 60 is they must attend a minimum of 3 physical classes per week, which initially we made it 4 because I thought, who the fuck isn't going to make 4 training sessions? It should be a standard, but it's like, no, you've got to give people a platform to grow from. So, and then so I was questioning, I was like, oh, should we be, is 3 sessions too much, physical sessions too much? And then as I trained, that was my 4th session that I trained on at Gladiator, 4th physical outside of 2 yoga sessions and stuff like that. But and then once I got there and I started training, I was like, absolutely fucking not. Hey, like it's like 3 sessions should be the base standard, the minimum standard, and then it should be a good platform to grow from and to install that habit of discipline and the necessity to move the body to feel good, because I felt amazing afterwards. And I was like, had I not done it, I would have deprived myself of this feeling. And it's like, when have I ever done a workout and regretted it?
Yeah.
Probably only if I got injured, which I never have through the exercise, but fortunately, but
The hard part's showing up to the workout
It is,
sometimes.
eh?
And
Yeah.
then once you get into it, when do you regret doing a workout?
it's yeah.
Barely ever.
Yeah.
And just creating the habit of turning up, like you said, like
Yeah.
I think and a few of the lads here are starting to learn this now, where you can rock up to a session and not just go ham on it the
Yeah.
whole time. Like
Yeah.
I think understanding the difference between being a pussy
Yeah.
and not turning up, or actually needing a day off is very different.
Yeah.
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 Because that's what I said to myself. I'm like, oh, I'll just go down and I'll just go through the motions, you know. And then because of the prep that I'd probably been doing, and like, because I started including Monday motion back into my rhythm, because I was just doing the 2 strengths and a kind of endurance-y cardio one, and then it just, I found like in the Gladiator Games, because I was just doing the one cardio thing, it like was limiting my performance in there. I was like, geez, I've actually recognised that I can be better, and so I do want to add that other session. And then so I came from a place of like, I want to, and then I was able to get down and it's fine. And then on Saturday, like after implementing a couple of Monday emotions back into my routine, it's like, this is working. Like I was moving really well, my body was in good functional patterns, and it was the cardio was there to support the movement and hold that consistency rather than being so gassed. And it was just, it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, on that, like, this is something I did when I was playing footy. After a hard game of footy, I'd do a leg day the next day.
Really?
Right.
But just do it lightly. And that's like something that we have here with our sessions is maybe a heavy squat day on the Monday, and then the next session probably has some kind of element of legs anyway.
Yeah.
And guys feel like they have to go hard again. It's like, no, just get your blood flow happening, get your body moving again. That's probably what you're feeling.
It did, yeah. I remember a guy came in and I'm like, oh, how many days a week do you train? And he's like, I move the body every single day. Like I do something, be it mobility or something, like that. And I think that's so important too, because it once he said that, and I realised like, I don't have to go balls to the wall hard every day, but those lighter days are so imperative to make those harder days easier, or
I think having a balance to a degree, because obviously going hard, you're going to get results. To get results, you got to sort of push the envelope, be pushing failure in certain degrees. But then again, if you're redlining it the whole time, you're going to break down. And then those days where you're doing movement, or we did yoga this morning. It's just good to connect with your body, feel out any sort of tight spots and all that stuff. So it's like finding that balance, and then that does come to listening to your body, and then like, am I being a pussy, or do I actually need to fucking maybe just move through the motions today? And depending on where you're at, some guys definitely just maybe move through the motions, and you can see maybe they don't have results, and then the guys that are like got real good results, and then maybe they get injured, like then it's like, well, maybe you need to actually like listen to your body and do a bit more movement based stuff where you're not flogging yourself every session. So
there's always that balance, right? Like I think you only get stronger from what you recover from. So I think people that just go ham all the time, it's like you're just smoking yourself. Cortisol's high, you're gonna get injured, you're gonna get sick.
That's something as well that I think there's a couple of things there. Firstly, like the type of person that does want to distract themselves, and what is driving the action. And then also we touched on like checking in with yourself. It's like, am I being a pussy? Or what's a good way to reframe that to be like, if what would motivate you more? Am I being a pussy right now? Or what does the highest version of myself want me to do right now? What is that strongest version of myself? Is it, do I need to do this thing to prove to myself that I have the discipline to see it through? Or, like you said, listen to the body. Does the body actually need rest right now?
I think as well, that like you said, that intention you go into a session, some guys think they almost like want to punish themselves.
Yes.
They're like, and you're going in with that mindset, so you're training that mindset of punishing myself rather than going to the mindset of maybe like, I want to push my limits, I want to do my best, instead of like a mindset. So I think the mindset and the intention you go into training with is so important. Say if you go into training, I want to be super present. I want to like feel every movement, notice my breath. That's only going to translate onto everyday life, So that, I think the intention and the mindset you train with, it's not just lifting weights. I've seen people in gyms on the leg press and stuff watching a Netflix series on the leg press. You're not getting any mind-body connection. You're not. No. Training's a lot more than just moving your body. And health is a lot more than just moving your body. It's the connection of like the mind, body, spirit stuff.
Totally,
So,
yeah. I think that's super important. You know, that because some people we use a train heroic app to log all our sessions in, and so the lads can like track their progress as they're going through. I think I believe it's really important. But the step in the development of getting to train heroic eventually was we first of all had nothing. You would just turn up, look at the board, and go through the motions, and then no one tracked. And then we eventually developed a booklet because we were like, we don't want guys going on their phone to distract them from their training where they're going to be constantly on the phone. So we created a booklet, and then there was us printing out booklets all the time. Some people would start not finish them. It was a waste of paper. Everyone needs a pen, blah, blah, blah. I loved the booklet personally and writing it in, but then your sweat would be on your hand and it would ruin all the things. And I quite liked seeing the sweat on the pages afterwards anyway, because you had a good session. But as soon as we implemented that booklet, God damn, like I showed up with a way better intention to train. I'm like, I'm going to beat that last time that I did that
goals.
or something. Yeah, and it was just triggered my mindset to be like, wow, like progression is so imperative in that area. And then finally getting the train heroic, and some people like uncertain of whether they want to be on the phone. And it's like the phone, put that phone on silent mode, put it on do not disturb. Only use it for the sole purpose to track your lifts during the session. That is your time. Devote that time to you. That is self-care. That is your time to have to yourself, to focus on yourself. Block out the outside distractions. And then turn it off once you finish training.
That could be the only time in your day where you get to block outside distractions and just really dial in on you and improving you.
Totally.
Because a lot of people, we don't really get that these days, do we? With the phone and things, messages and calls and all sorts popping off. So it's like, you take that time intentionally, and how you take that time intentionally is gonna push towards how you're gonna be in the everyday life.
Yeah.
How you train. You probably train real focused and disciplined and all that with your training, and then it shows in your lifestyle, like you're definitely disciplined, focused, and all that. You train intense and all that, and then you're an intense guy.
And I actually train intense. No, that was
intense. But I think it's all linked.
Yeah, it is.
Linkage.
That's a powerful thing. I think that's a powerful thing with martial arts too, and you can use that mindset into any kind of training. But like, when you got gloves on or when you're grappling or something like that, you can't answer a phone.
No.
Like you have to. You can't think about nothing else is important.
Try texting with boxing gloves.
Yeah.
You can't.
I haven't.
Get the snods going.
That's so true. It's like that intentional. It's what you're training, what you're practicing. You're training. You're instilling. It's becoming a habit. It's a memory. And so everything has to be intentional. It has to be intentional. And
living purposefully.
Yeah.
Right, on purpose. That's,
there you go.
The intention behind things is so important, which is something that can be slept upon because it's invisible, but people can tell and people can notice, like someone could throw a ball at someone to catch it, and then they could do the same sort of throw, but they're throwing at them to like hit them. It's the same action, but the intention's different,
Totally,
and therefore you're going to get a different outcome. So the intention really matters.
That's perfect. Well, that could segue into the nice little piece, how we set up our weeks for success, and where that starts from. Be it your Sunday night, where you map out your week ahead, and then your morning routine, and you make up that each morning, your nighttime routine, and whatever else falls in between. Do you want to kick us off, Kurt, on what's
mapping out my week?
Yeah, like what do you do to lead yourself to success throughout the week?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like writing down. Like on a Sunday, I write down, set up my week. So maybe a few targets or things I want to hit. I'll write them down, and then I'll sort of reflect on last week and write down maybe a way or a motto or a phrase I want to adopt for the week, so a way of being. Just living intentionally. And sort of just, obviously writing things down. using Sunday to like rest a bit more. Sometimes I like going for a run on a Sunday and just sort of use that time because you got a bit more time then to sort of like filter through things. I like running to sort of like filter through things and maybe clear the head a bit. So then I can sort of hit the week with a clear head. But yeah, writing down main goals I want to achieve, maybe my training sessions I'm going to do, and then coming up with sort of how I want to embody the week, whether that's more presence or I want to be more responsible or different ways I can embody the qualities for the week, and then having them and looking at them throughout the week to remind myself. What about you, Cass?
Mine would be morning routine, which will basically set up a really good day, and then you do that 7 times, you're good, right? So,
do you want to dive into your morning routine?
Yeah, so as far as my morning routine it goes, like some mornings obviously training here with the lads at 4:15, I've got to get up quite early for that.
What time do you have to get up?
3 o'clock sometimes,
nice.
to make sure I still have my time to do the things I need to do. Otherwise, I don't want to be the guy that rocks up. And we see these people, they rock up and they just look like they're just woken up. It's like you're not very present in this moment. You're not going to have a good session that way. So I think waking yourself up first thing is really important. I start with a shower usually, and then use the trigger and the cue of turning the shower off to turn it straight back on to cold. So I'll have a hot shower, then a cold shower. Then I use that as a trigger to do my affirmation to myself, which could change each day. And then from there, I'll turn that off, get dry, whatever. Get into the kitchen.
What's the affirmation typically?
It would change each day. But depending on what I have going on.
So like a small sentence?
Just what my day, who do I want to be that day, basically.
Yeah, nice.
That's my usual one. But then at the moment, it's thinking about the fight. I use that moment to try and I'll actually do like a prayer in the shower, like I would when we start the fight. Yes, and then I'll turn around in the shower and visualize that person in front of me. So then when I'm in that moment, I'm not overwhelmed. I do it every day. I do it when I wake up.
That's not just a normal shower, folks.
No. So that's what I've been doing at the moment, so that I know when I get in there, I'm not overwhelmed by that moment.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So then, you got these triggers of turning off the shower. Then you do your affirmations and like turn it cold, and so what happens? How do you set your day up after you get out of the shower? What's that like?
So I mean, the triggers are super powerful because you turn that shower off or whatever, and you feel like a pussy if you don't do the next one. And then the next one and the next one. It's like a chain-on effect. I got that from Atomic Habits. I don't know if you guys read that. Yeah, super powerful book. So if you haven't read that, read that. Then I'll go to the kitchen and I'll plan out my food for the day. If I'm tracking, because I might need to lose weight for a fight or whatever, I'll throw it in the app and pre-plan it so that I can't go wrong with it, basically. And that's kind of me, yeah. On the Sunday night, I'll plan out all of my sessions. How's that going to look? Travel time, all of that. Pretty dialed in on a Sunday, but Sundays, I think, key for me, yeah.
And we were even saying before the podcast, like, setting out our clothes the night before. So just be prepared so you don't have to be like too rushed in the morning, you know, and hey, what is that saying? Like how you start your day is how you set up, you know. How you start your day is important, let's say that.
Yeah, I remember when I first heard nighttime routine, and I thought, is that like having a bath with candles and shit? Like, is that what that is? But no, it's then I realised, like, no, it's not that at all. It's like, what do you do could be that could be how you set yourself up for success for the day following, yeah. But I'm with you, like, I do it all the time. Yeah, I get my clothes out so that I'm ready to go. I'm not starting in a high stress state of, like, being on the back foot. And, so that's, like, winding down correctly and stuff like that, and I did used to think it was like, oh, okay, so get it, you gotta have a bath or something like that. Is that a nighttime routine? But each their own. It's different for everyone, and I think it's just what's going to give you the best chance or what's going to be the best thing that's going to put you in the right position to make the right decision or something like that. And so for myself. My Sunday, I would love to. We've just installed a new accountability thing this week, actually, where like the Way of Life guys, I said, who would like to ensure that their intentions for the week are submitted before 9 a.m. on Monday? And, there was a few guys that were like, yeah, I'd love to have that accountability. And for every hour behind they are from the 9 a.m., then it's 10 burpees. So even myself, I got my intentions in at 5 p.m. on Monday nights, which is late for me, but it's like good motivation for me to now be like, okay, I need to bring that forward. So yeah, I've got 80 burpees to in debt for that era, but like that's I'm so grateful to have that accountability. Like, yeah, it's a decision that we sort of made and put together, but it's just going to hold me to that higher standard, which is awesome. In terms of Sundays for me, that is a relaxing day. But you just saying that you go for a run, and I used to do a few runs on Sunday, and then I'd love to get back into that. Like just a light jog, zone 2, whatever. Just moving the limbs, yeah, and that would just be so nice to, especially following gladiator games. Like I came in on yesterday morning, and we did legs, and my legs were still sore from gladiator games, and I couldn't even get down into the squat, and I'm like, this is because I haven't mobilized my body, even though I did Monday in motion, but they were just still so sore. So doing like a run would be really beneficial, I feel. Yeah. But I usually treat Sunday as like a real day for relationship, like call my parents back home, call my brothers and stuff like that, check in with loved ones and stuff like that, and then make sure I'm present on Sunday with Georgia. There is some setting up for work, but that usually comes on later on in the evening, like calling the leads and checking in and sending Sunday messaging and stuff like that. But usually that's sort of around like the 4-5 o'clock mark, and then pre-dinner, and then after dinner it's like back to that sort of nighttime routine kind of style of setting up or like doing the things to fill my cup, to wind down so that I can have that good sleep, and so that we are ready to rock and roll from Monday.
Yeah, nice. I've got a question for you. When so say during the day, life is going to life, so like things happen. So for you guys, if something happens that's stressful, like high stress, or something, you hear of something, or there's a situation that you obviously did not want to happen, so it's stressful. How do you guys sort of like deal with that? Like, how do you bring yourself back to being able to be your best version for the day?
For me, life will life. I think that's obviously something that's going to happen, but I think avoiding those things in the first place is super important. I think being prepped first. So one of the sayings that I've got that I use a lot, and I'm constantly saying it to myself, is now, not later.
Yeah.
So just literally don't let procrastination in, just now, not later. So if I've got a bill or something to pay and I've got the money to pay it, I'm going to pay it now, not on the due date.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't sit over my head that whole time.
So, yeah.
So I think if something happens throughout the day, it's probably because you haven't prepped.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously things can happen and things will happen, but...
Yeah, and as well, like those things that will happen that maybe are out of your control.
Yeah.
How do you bring yourself back to being grounded and being able to, be of service, and how do you bring yourself back to like not getting caught up in that stress state? How do you bring yourself back to being able to do what you do?
I think any time there's something like that, and this is something that fighting's taught me, is to pull the emotion away from it. There's always something you can action like straight away to help combat that situation, but as soon as you get emotional, I think we spoke about it in a previous podcast, where it's like response rather than like react. Yeah, that's it. So I think pulling the emotion away from any of those situations, go, what can I control? How do I do that? All right, sweet. Okay, and then at the very least, you've done what you can do to mitigate that or whatever.
Yeah.
I look, just on the bill thing, I used to be one of those guys that wouldn't pay the fine right up until it was due. And it's like I'm just putting off the inevitable, or I was, and then, and I'm just, I think that was that kind of the law doesn't have power over me kind of thing, where it's like, and we've spoke about this as well, is like, play the game until you can beat the game or something, you know what I mean? It's like, until it's not...
you can't beat the system.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have resources.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's like so important, because trying to beat the system before you're even, like at the ability to play, it's like you're wasting your time, man. But yeah, I totally get that now. It's like I've actually got the power I've got the power over what's happened in that moment by just getting rid of it already. Just clearing that energy, putting it behind me, out of the way. Now I can focus on what's ahead of me. It's like that $100 parking fine. Pay that and then go out and make another $100, or make $200, rather than being in that energy state of, the longer I can stay in like the victim of, oh, poor me, fuck, blah blah blah, and try and warrant my emotions as like, oh, I've been attacked, like, oh, fucking blah blah blah, like I'm wasting valuable time where I could be just overcoming the situation as well.
And not paying that is like, it's like trying to win a game you can't win at the cost of your own like sanity and wealth. Yeah,
totally.
Like,
yeah.
I
Just
agree.
doing it, you're practicing being an action taker as well.
Yeah.
Just like you said, now not later.
I think that's really powerful. If you struggle with procrastination, try it. Just
now not later.
Now not later. Like, it could be anything. Like prepping your clothes the night before. It's like, as soon as you get into the habit of, I'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow comes, and then you're getting your clothes prepped when you could be getting something ready for later on in the day.
And there's those little things as well. Like, that's such a little thing, just putting your clothes out the night before. But like, all those small habits like add up, and the way you are in those moments, like you're being proactive, whereas you're not getting your clothes out before, you're being lazy, and then you're just practicing being lazy. It's like, you might not think it's much, it might just be a small thing, but honestly, like, the small things add up to the big thing.
Discipline in the small details,
Yeah.
That's puts you into a super powerful position. I think.
Yeah.
When I've got that fine, and because I think it's like a state of acceptance. It's like, accept this has happened, and how can we move forward? And so for sometimes it's just like, for me, it's just like taking that moment to be like, deep breath in. Yep, this has happened. Fucking sucks. Get on with it, and then get in, hit the thing. They make it pretty easy to pay those bills these days, don't they? The old B-pay straight through, like too easy. And then
done a few, have you?
I've done a couple, but I tell you what, that'll be the last. I won't make that mistake again. And that's another thing. Make the mistake once and learn from it. Make it twice. Then you're a bit of an idiot, aren't you?
I'll one up that and watch someone else make the mistake and don't make it.
Oh, give me a
that's
knuckles
like
on that
that's
one.
something that I kind of
learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, I feel like I developed my footy pretty quick, watching my brothers, and then hearing what coaches and like my dad in the car would say to fix their mistake. I'd be like in the back seat trying to like think about that, and then implement it in my game. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
I think that's where sport comes into life a lot. You can learn a lot from sport that you can utilize.
100%. Yeah, that's wisdom right there.
I love that. It's like you're winning twice there. Yeah. You haven't incurred the fee, but you've gained the value out of it.
Yeah, you don't need to go through the pain of the mistake. You know, sometimes, experience is like probably one of the greatest teachers, but I think it's wise to learn from other people as well. If you could see, hey, that didn't work, and then he's done that. All right, that's the lesson. I don't need to go through that myself.
Some things like do take a few, like that.
Yeah.
Like you might have to do something a couple of times, and then the pain teacher will be like,
kick it in. Yeah.
It's time. You got to fix this.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah. Well, they say it's the feather, the brick, or the bus.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and some people, that all they need, the way I describe it is, as you become more aware or conscious of every little decision, every little micro moment, there's like always a lesson within the moment, and it can brush you with a feather, and you have to be that intuitive and that on your game to recognise it. Otherwise, the next incident will be a bit of a brick, bit harder, like, hey, have that. And then the last one could be fatal or very crippling, and that's when you get hit by the bus, and it's like, oh shit, and those incidences can look like,
Injury,
like real injury, or even something a little bit more severe where you're hospitalised,
Could be break down a relationship, could be anything,
Yeah.
That's gold. I'm a big fan of that. I've never heard that.
Oh, really? There you
That's
go.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be aware, man.
Yeah.
And we all have like blind spots as well. So sometimes it's hard to learn that lesson, and sometimes you do get that freaking bus because you got blind spots. But that's where it's good to have people around you that hold you accountable, and
another set of eyes.
another set of eyes that are like people that are honest with you. That say, hey, this is what I see, and they're coming from a place of love, and they want the best for you. So that's important, and I feel like in society people don't do that enough. Hold others accountable, and I know in Australia, a way we talk is we beat around the bush. We won't tell someone straight up, like, hey, because that's what I think. It's kind of like we go about it this sort of circular way where we don't want to hurt your feelings. But yeah, sometimes the truth hurts.
Yeah,
so
exactly right.
That's the thing to practice. That's something I want to practice because I know that I can tell a bit of a story and like put it out on a little red carpet and like, here's the boat down it, and hopefully that didn't hurt too much. But but it's like you got to get better at sometimes feeling emotion creates motion. So sometimes you got to create an emotion in someone to make them do motion or do something about it.
Some people that are so like bad at doing that, you'll tell them something pretty direct and they'll hear what they want to hear.
That's
true. People like that, but I think
the ego.
Yeah, just developing that skill of actually listening.
Yeah. Some of them was like, and that could be that rebellious nature as well, where it's like, I hear what you're saying, bro, but I'm still going to wait for that bus. Like, I'm keen
to feel it, bro.
I want to just stretch it a little bit further. That question relayed back to yourself.
How do I deal with it when it's stressful? Well, the breath is a big one for me. So like connecting to the breath and the present moment. And if I'm getting stressed or something's happened, sometimes I like taking a wide perspective of the universe, and then it sees like how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. So when I look at this problem from a universal sort of view, cosmic view, I'm like, wait, that's not a problem. So it kind of brings me into present, sort of grateful. So looking at in that way. But then, I remember I went through a stage of reading a lot of books about letting go, acceptance, and all that stuff. And so sort of learning the power of acceptance and learning I can work with the feeling rather than trying to fight it. So I might have this real bad feeling within me or like stressed or whatever. It's like, hey, can I still do what I was going to do still with this feeling? And I realised over practice, I definitely can. So I think... not having people, we don't have to feel a certain way to do something. If you want to do that, just do it anyway without even if you're feeling like you shouldn't or you should. If you're a slave to your feelings, like you're never really going to get anything done, unfortunately. So sort of the acceptance piece and the wider perspective, and then my breath, the present moment. So I can cycle through those, or I can like try and use them all at the same time, kind of thing.
That kind of triggered my mind then. Another saying that I use a lot: if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't give it more than 5 minutes. I think that's sort of like that cosmic thing. It's like, does it really matter? Is this really something that I should be wasting my energy and time on? Should I just get on to what I'm meant to be doing?
We're all going to die. It's like you can't take it all too serious. That's it.
When it comes to and then when it comes to that, not taking it too seriously it can come back to that thing like, does it align with my purpose and I know there's a lot of guys out there that are saying I can't find my purpose, and what would you guys say to someone who can't find their purpose? And I think the key word there is being find. Because I think it's like that constant search, and it's like they always like that state of attraction. One of my old mentors used to say, "I don't chase, I attract." And so chasing would be like chasing the girl, like in pursuit or hunting her down, or or something like that. When really it's like you just need to be that fucking epic human where suddenly she comes to you
Yeah.
or something like that. And
Magnetise it.
yeah, totally. And for like the whole purpose, this being the path of purpose, we're all on a purpose together, and that's why we're here speaking on this. I feel was like the purpose is so good to have, but you can find it in anything, or you can find it, but you can have it in anything. And I feel like it does help when it comes to waking up in the morning to have something to be aligned to.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those guys, do you guys have any notes to give them around like purpose and what it means for you?
Just off like what I do, what I personally kind of think. I think you need to have some kind of overarching like dream or goal. Mine is to be like a really good dad. That's something that I've always kind of, everything I do is to become that man that will raise a really good child.
Fucking love that. Yeah.
So, but then in saying that, you need something that will excite you in that path and direction as well. So
Totally.
like fighting and what I do here with you guys and all of that is just super exciting to me. And then I think on the flip side, if guys don't know what that is, it's like, what do you not want to be? Who do you not want to be? And then what's the opposite of that? How do you, you know what I mean? It's just sort of...
That's a great way, yeah. That's awesome, yeah.
Do you want to be a drug addict?
Yeah.
Do you want to be boozing up every night at the pub or something? Or I don't know, that could be in alignment with what you want to do. But then it like kind of goes, okay, well then what's on the other side of that? And then, I totally hear you. It's a great way to...
And like sometimes people need to get to that point of pain. Talk a lot about this with people with, weight loss goals and stuff like that. It's like, what for me it'd be a couple kilos. I go a couple kilos fat. I'm like, this is my point of pain. I need to do something about it. Where a lot of people have, 30 kilos extra mass that they don't need, and that's their point of pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think for that kind of like drug addict and drink addict kind of note, that's that, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you really not want to be? What's that point of pain for you, and why is it so high? Why is it there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, pain's it. What does your shirt say, that quote about pain?
I'm trying to remember it. Pain is...
Request for change?
Yeah, request for change,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Pain's a big driver. And that's that strong emotion again. Feeling that, just pushing you away. I don't want to feel that. So it's like, I got to go somewhere else. So it's a request for change, purpose, I'd almost say more... I used to think, it was more find your purpose, but I would say it's more create your purpose. I don't think, there's all these things like find your purpose and stuff like that. And, you sit there and meditate and wait till it comes or something. But I think purpose comes through action and figuring out what works and what you enjoy, So having purpose is, you got to find out, ask yourself what's meaningful to you. Ask yourself the question, what is meaningful to me? And then how can I make those things like well and important? Having purpose for more than yourself, I think, is a great way to live as well, like being responsible for people, like coaching and stuff like that. Our purpose, we're not really thinking about ourselves when we're coaching. We're thinking about, hey, how do we give these guys a good session? How do they enjoy it? Like, how's their exercise going? So it alleviates almost our sense of self at times, which is great, and our purpose is them. So, I think having purpose for ideas or people or whatever it is, events, like your purpose is fighting, like, as well. So, having things that you're striving for and then actions to develop that, if that makes sense.
I think the powerful part about it all is it doesn't really matter what your purpose is.
No.
It just matters that you're on the path to that purpose, like you're on the front.
And it can change, like, through the day. Your purpose at night is different, maybe, but I think it's good to have an overall purpose of, like, kind of where you're going and how you want to know how you want to live. And that's coming down to, like, asking yourself questions. So, like, what do I really want? And then go try and get it. And sometimes you find out, like, that's not what I wanted, but you wouldn't know until you got it. And then the other one is like, what do I not want to be, or what am I afraid of, you know, or things like that. So just diving into questions, asking yourself, what do I want, who do I want to be, and stuff like that, and sitting with yourself maybe in a journal and answering that seriously is an important one. How about you, Guy? For your
Yeah, I reckon. I think. I truly believe that the purpose, or firstly, like you said, like to expand beyond the self, to give for a greater cause, is initiated firstly, as you said, by questioning and making yourself your purpose. So everything that you will do, and this is just speaking from me, like, I went through that self development phase of everything I was doing was, a key book for me in my evolution, I feel, was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And that was awesome because it kind of intertwined. My brother got it for me for Christmas in 2020, and it just came at the right time. Like, I was sort of investigating into the self-discovery process, and then it just landed, and it just, everything that I was going through, and I even recited one of the laws today with you. I can't remember what it was. Seek first to be understood. Seek first to understand and then be understood. And I think that's such a good phrase, because then you're not going out seeking validation. But anyway, but I think the purpose is like, I made myself my purpose. Like, how can I be the best version of me? And then when you are at that place, then you have an overflowing cup to give, because you have found, or you've acquired like a greater purpose. But I think it's, and that, I believe, like, the purpose comes back to the heart. And I feel leading from a place of your truth and authenticity is, for me at least, it comes back to my heart, and people say, lead from the heart, or they say, and the heart is not only a great place to relate to for love and stuff like this, but it is also like in a part of the anatomy, it is the heart, and when you can feel your heart overflowing with love and expansion, and that's a physical feeling. It's like just like heartbreak. When you go through heartbreak, it's like, feels like your heart's throbbing, and it's like dropped into your rib cage, and it feels like it's been ripped out. You can experience that on the up, like when something's really great's happening, it's like overflowing. It feels like, oh my god, my heart's pounding out of my chest, like, and it's that's where I'm connected to my purpose, because I know that it's like I'm spending more days in happiness than in another place, and I'm trying not to judge any of the emotions either. If I feel shame, if I feel guilt, know I'm supposed to feel that. Know that that's all a part of the way of life.
There's no wrong feelings.
No wrong feelings.
I think Alan Moore said that. But I think we've sort of talked about it before on the podcast, but like, how do you connect with your heart then? If you're leading with your heart, how do you connect with your heart and say that's the way?
Like, we dropped into that intuitive sort of sense, hey? And I definitely feel it's that confidence piece as well that we've spoken to too. It's like, if this is an alignment, like, this will give me confidence. Like, I'll have more energy for this because it's in alignment with me. When you lose energy, or when I've lost energy, it's when I'm not in alignment with my truth. Like, it's actually requires more energy for me to fake it and lie than it does for me to live a life in truth. And because truth is easy. And
you're not having to like fight against yourself.
The amount of energy expenditure I've been there when I had to lie about who I was to people and then try and cover my tracks. Like, I've just made this lie to this guy about how I was playing rugby and I've got a broken shoulder, when just so I could be mates with him and we could form this kind of like relationship and this like shared
cover your tracks all night.
you've been injured too. Oh, what position were you, man? I was like, second 5. And he was like, oh yeah, no way, I was second 5 too. Or what did you do in your shoulder? Oh, ACL. And then he's like, hang on, that's a lie. And I'm like, shit, I've just lied. And then I've got to try and come. And then I just went up to him afterwards. Like, this is a true story. It was back in Sydney when I'd just moved over. I was 22. And I was still formalising my identity. But I wanted to be, like, I've just made my way onto the scene. I'm trying to connect. And I'm trying to, like, make him see me as, like, oh, this guy's cool, or this guy's blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to be seen in a certain way rather than being seen for who I am.
Yeah.
And then, I made that...
ACL my shoulder.
I just made some shit, just butchered it.
Yeah.
And then I remember going up to him later on, I was like, shit, here's my first impressions that I'm leaving with this guy, and I've just lied to him. And then so I remember going back later and I said, hey man, I'm really sorry. I actually I just fully lied about that. Like, I don't know what came over me, but I didn't play second 5, blah, blah, blah.
At least you were.
And he was like, oh yeah, no worries. And like, we weren't friends after that. But guess what? I felt fucking redeemed in myself. Like, I felt better having confessed to...
Installed your integrity.
Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, and guess what? I learned from that. I'm like, I'll never lie about... Like, that must have been a pivotal moment for me to, recall that as, like, fuck, I'll never do that again. I'll just be myself. It's a lot easier.
But I think that, living in alignment, giving you energy, because you're not having to fight yourself and fucking create all these stories and cover your tracks.
Totally.
And
it can be scary at first, maybe, for someone who has lived a life as a bit of a lie, to come clean on that shit.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be, like, the hardest thing to stomach, because it's like, oh, my God, my ego...
That's why that's a pipital moment for you. Yeah. That pain that we spoke about.
Yeah.
There's that embarrassment attached to it that then allows you to learn.
Yeah. 100%, yeah.
For me, it's like the things that you know you need to do, if I'm living in alignment, they're very easy to do.
Yeah.
Like, they're hard, they suck. You know that they suck, but they don't feel hard. They're just...
Yeah.
Because you know it's pushing you to the right place, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and again, I always relate things back to fighting because it's obviously what I do, but my shadowboxing routine, when I've had fights that I know that I probably shouldn't have taken, it's like that I just don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Whereas right now I'm tuned in, it's like I want to be there, I want to be doing those things for that reason, you know what I mean? Because I'm in alignment with what I'm trying to do.
And even probably stripping that question back again, I don't even know if you can answer this, but it's like, how do you know what is aligned with you? Like, how do you know, we talk about, because we're living in alignment, but like, how do you know what is aligned with you?
Progress, I reckon.
Yeah?
Progress.
Yeah.
I think if you're just, you feel like you're going in the right direction.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's definitely a feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a feeling. I'm aligned. I'm not fighting myself. I'm not blocked. I'm like, this is the right way. This is the way. I don't know. How about you, Guy? Like, how do you feel? How do you know what's in alignment?
I was just listening to you. I was expecting you to go longer on that. I want to go back to you and say, well, what do you feel like? What makes you feel like you're in alignment? Like what?
Yeah, as I said, I feel like it's definitely a feeling.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have like these blockages and like, I'm not fighting myself. Can
you recall
it's more a knowing, I reckon. It's just like, that feels right, you know? That's why I said I don't know if it's going to be hard to explain. That's why I was interested to see your guys' response.
For me, we're just handballing it back and forth, so I'll go.
What are you
I'm very process driven, so for me, when I do my goals, I'll do 5-year goals. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'll work backwards in those. So I've got a 5-year goal and then so on and so on. So I think if that action is getting you closer to your 1-year goal, 2-year goal, 3-year goal.
So it's like very much progress for you.
It's very progress driven for me. If I'm doing something that doesn't align, it's not going to be progressing me towards those things.
Yeah.
But I think getting really clear on those things in the first place is where...
Yeah, and that just getting clear on those things comes down to like listening to yourself and blocking out the noise, not what someone else want or what Sally down the road's got or Bob on social media. It's like, well, what do you actually want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read an article once and it was called "What Do You Want to Want?" So it's like not thinking of what you want because it's like, man, I might want a fucking donut right now.
Yeah.
You know, I might want a Ferrari or whatever. You know, which would be nice. But it's like, what do I actually want to want? You know, if you get that, it's kind of like, what sort of stuff do you actually want to want? So it's like, yeah, like that's sort of taken it a bit more intentionally. Like the sort of person to me, like what do they actually want? You know, so it's like that double layer, kind of looking into it a bit deeper rather than just being, I want whatever.
It's like that. It's like pain now, pleasure later, or pleasure now, pain later. Do some stuff that sucks, and you're gonna be enjoying your life later on. You know?
Yeah.
It's like you can pay the debt now, or you can pay the debt later, but the debt's coming. Like there's short term debt, or there's we were speaking on that the other day as well.
Yeah.
To back to your question as well about the alignment, how do I live in it? And I was trying to find an answer that wasn't progress. I was trying to find an answer that didn't steer back to that, but it must be that, eh? It must be, yeah. Because if you weren't progressing, then man, I'd be. But the fucking paradox is everything is progress. You know what I mean? Like no matter how hard you can try and dig yourself into that hole, you're gonna reach rock bottom, and then you're gonna go, fuck, this sucks. I'm gonna have to go in another direction. You know, so.
I think it's probably more the pursuit of progress.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's
like,
probably it.
If you're, and again, even winning, it's like winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't want to win, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing that for?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is winning such a good feeling?
What was that progress again? Coming back to that. It's like, yeah, winning is... Don't know, it's something primal.
But if you've
something primal within us, isn't it?
Once you've won though, then you.
But have you ever?
You never win. There's
You
always the next thing. You know.
Well, that's what they say about the top tier athletes. Why they get like depressed after they've won, eh? Because they've like reached the epitome of success, and then they've got, where to go now? And that's when they lose their purpose. And then they go, okay, I've got nowhere to go now, and then they get depressive.
Yeah.
Because it comes back to that purpose.
Well, they're so destination driven.
Yeah.
And like, it's so cliche. It's all about the journey, but it's so
path,
true. It's like if you could, on the path of purpose.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
So
that's what it's about.
Back to sport, like I've had a couple moments where I'd stopped fighting for a little bit or went from footy to fighting and I didn't have much purpose there. And those were the moments where like I realised that there is a lot more to life outside of sport. So I think once you know that, and then if you go back or whatever, the winning is still after. Like I don't feel like I need to fight. A lot of fighters do. That's why they struggle to retire and stuff like that. So I think just finding that bigger purpose than sport inside sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was mine.
That's an example.
Mine was a lot with sport as well, and it's interesting. Like, shifting identities of like from sport or like something that you're really good at, and you've put so much time into, and you may have natural abilities. Then it's like, fuck, like, well, this isn't. I can't do this for the rest of my life or whatever, you know. So it's like switching, and then you got to almost like you're not the best anymore at that. So you're switching into another area, which is like. Yeah, you got to drop the ego again and learn and all that, which is just part of life, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
And I think knowing that the sport doesn't really matter, it's the lessons you get out of that you can take into life, I think.
Yeah. It's weird how there's all these little things like sport or the gym and how they all just relate into life, you know, like as a whole, you know, just all these little like micro games within the big game of life.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
So funny,
Yeah, that's so true. If we could summarize the content of this podcast, and you were to impart one piece of wisdom to our audience, each of us, what would be something that you would, or even through your own listening and your own sharing, is like, what would you valuable to yourself, or what would you part with the audience before we say sayonara until another day?
I think I really enjoyed the feather brick or the bus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sort of like, you know of that kind of thing, but just the way it's said, I will take that for sure, I think.
Oh, nice.
But
Thank you.
a summary for me would be, I think we just sort of hit the nail on the head, but just like the pursuit of progress and growth, I think. If you don't know what that is, get clear on it. You know? Spend some time getting inside your own mind, inside your heart, and figure out what that is that you want. What about you?
I really like the learning from others that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think that's great. And yeah, to summarise, yeah, it's just living in alignment. So yeah, it's more of a. I feel like everyone, we know what to do, we know what's right. It's just doing it, and that's that. Like, don't just show up, even if you don't be a slave to your feelings. So it's more, follow that inner knowing to a degree, and then use your mind to obviously help you and get the most out of it. But that inner knowing, which probably doesn't really even have words, is I can almost all the time right. A lot of the time, that's that intuition. So, follow your inner knowing. You know, if you ask yourself a question, there's going to be an answer that comes up that you know is probably right. And if you find it hard to like know which one's right, just pick one, because that's that more is lost in indecision than decision. So
Indecision.
Hey,
More is lost in indecision.
Yeah.
Indecision. Yeah.
So just pick one anyway, because you don't want to be in that hesitation mode. It's no good. There's no progress in that. So what about you guys?
Yeah, there's progress or there's procrastination, isn't there? And one's not progressive. I'd say I love how you've got your sporting relationship with all of these, metaphors for life. And I think what you said at the end is brilliant. Like we're all playing these mini games within the giant game of life, and when you said that you can take yourself and cast yourself out into the universe and realize that you're merely a fucking speck in this giant thing, and this decision here is not really that significant, then it kind of takes away the big overwhelming black cloud of shit, what's going on. Just be like, it's actually really fucking simple. I'll just make the decision and then go ahead.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious, dude. Like, it's not gonna.
More
it's not going to end your life. You're not. When have you died?
Did
how many
you
people
die?
died from
No,
from that decision? Not
Maybe
not many
close.
people. May have come close.
but you didn't.
Maybe you needed that bus.
Yeah,
Maybe you needed that bus.
you needed that feather that come from the bus after it fucking nearly hit you.
Yeah,
That
there you
one
go.
that flew off.
You got off easy.
You got off
light
easy.
there. Yeah, you consider yourself lucky.
Right, then we got to wrap this up because we're starting to ramble.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, subscribe, share it with a mate. Do what you can to push this out there because it's going to be lit. And, more. Hopefully this can help you continue to walk that path of purpose and alongside us as we are too. Purpose is forever unfolding, and there's always new layers to purpose. And I think that following along on this podcast is we can all do it together, and we're all on purpose, whether you perceive yourself to be or not. Have a great fucking week, and we'll catch you next one.